When I think about the question of the best style of growing, I think about it a little bit different way. It's not really breaking it down as the different stages of growth, but just kind of overall, like my first way I ever started growing and the processes I did within that, right? So like the first time I really had success, I had a mentor. Not everybody had a mentor to kind of show them the way. A lot of people take this individually, the individual route, and they got to kind of figure it out, do their own research. So I had the ability to kind of pick things up a little bit faster because I had somebody in person that was already successful. And I was just learning what they do versus trying to spend time figuring it out.
That's the way to imitate success. It's
Yeah.
the way of business. It's the way of sports. Oftentimes they'll have somebody who they look up to get to that point of success. And then you leap past that with the knowledge that you gain from it.
Yeah.
It's
He
fucking
started out
super
in
smart.
Fox Farm Ocean Forest Soil. He started with Fox Farm Nutrients. He had a ton of success there. And that's how I started out. For the first 6 years solid, that's what I was using. Fox Farm Nutrients, Fox Farm Soil. Super consistent. It wasn't until like 2012-ish, 2013-ish, actually closer to 2014 if I remember correctly. 2013 I was mostly watching like consumer YouTube videos, and then 2014 really is when I got into like growing videos on YouTube. And I realized there's so many different ways to go about it. You know what I mean? There's so many different styles. Like, wow, I've been doing Fox Farm Soil and Fox Farm Nutrients for all these years. Let me try something else. So that's when I started venturing out and doing cocoa, you know what I mean? And doing different lighting and doing different environment conditions and really adjusting things up and trying things out and really opening up my mind and realizing that there's so much more to it than just Fox Farm to Fox Farm, you know? So that's kind of where I began. And then, geez, trying out these different styles over the years is so freaking fun.
I didn't think about styles as our thing. We're talking about process. Yeah, totally. I think organic
The different
super soils.
spin on that.
Yeah, organic super soils with LED lighting and grow tents is the way to do it. Mic drop. Episode over.
Yeah, right.
No, but I feel like that's
I disagree. We should fight.
well, that's my point, and that's where we need to dive into. I think that's a great observation in the episode context to the content. If we're looking at it in that sense, so my argument for why I think organic super soil, specifically done with a pre-blend like craft blend and then like watered weekly with stash blend, which is now there. I'm looking over at a different thing. That's going to be my hack. That's the easiest way to grow. It's so easy. You look at auto watering systems with that already fed soil, essentially. Dude, I'm just only plant training now. My soil is totally maintained. I have a battery that has a recharging dock connected to it, essentially. And now I feel like all I have to worry about now is how I can shape that canopy more to get the better results. I don't have to sit there and play scientist at all anymore. The only thing that I'd say is less attractive for some people is the initial startup cost. So I've got a bunch of bags that I don't rarely use because I only need a cup, maybe 2 cups out of it. But it was so affordable when you look at the breakdown. I mean, I'm not spending much at all versus the initial investment is like $80 for the whole bag. But I'm using it for 2-3 years versus some bottles that I'm going to use for 2 harvests, maybe. Then I'm going to reuse my soil versus before. I've taken my cocoa for years and dumped it in random people's backyards. It's not been advantageous to my pocket because I'm having to rebuy it over and over and over. Same with HPS, excuse me. I'm primarily using LED lights. I know there's benefits to high-pressure sodium lights in terms of your overall growth for terpene production even and flavonoids, but yield, of course. But I'm not going to keep buying bulbs over and over and over and having a hot ballast cooking up my room and the light being so intense that it's burning my plants or bleaching it often. I like the control of the LED. I like that I have the smart capabilities, and I like that it all is low maintenance and low reinvestment for my grow.
See, if we had this conversation let me think, just a little math in my head, just 7 years ago, I would disagree with you and say, I actually like synthetic nutrients, and this is where Pigeon's probably going to jump in, man. He's about to get the mic going on this one, dude.
Boy.
It's like bottled nutrients. You got the control. You mix up those nutrients only once a week, and then you're able to feed that more precision than in soil where you don't really have as much control. You could use cocoa, and you could precision, drought stress more easily. You don't have to worry about a micropopulation, converting those nutrients. So like, yeah,
I just do a scoop one time a month, and I do a half a teaspoon once a week to water in my stash bin with a scoop. That's all I got to do. I can be a simple kind of man.
I just gotta feed every 2 weeks too.
Yeah, but every 2 weeks
Yeah,
with nutrients?
yeah. Once a week, every 2 weeks. You're doing a water feed.
I guess bigger pots.
I don't even have to think for myself, right? Either because I just follow the regiment. Because I just go to Ventana Plant Science. And I just check or their chart, and I just follow it.
Well, let's say hypothetically you're having to rebuy those bottles every time. We're blessed that we're content creators and work with great brands that hook us up.
I'll do you one more. I'll go to stashblend.com. I'll get myself about an 8-ounce bag, and that bag's gonna last me probably 3-4 grow cycles.
Well, especially you get the 8-ouncer.
That's right.
And you're
That's
looking
right.
at
So
half
I'm only
a teaspoon, not a full teaspoon.
3 bottles. 2 bottles.
You're in soil, 2 bottles. Yeah, base nutrients. You wouldn't. I mean, if you were in cocoa, maybe adding in a calcium magnesium mix.
Sure.
But you could probably literally just go base nutrients, stash blend.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So that's where I would still argue that synthetic is the way to go. I do believe that's the superior method, and I would challenge that it's still this way and not from 7 years ago. Because
he's like, what the fuck? What are you trying to say? I'm dated. I'm old. 7 years.
I do that control, man. That control is definitely a method that I think is a variable that I think gets overlooked with synthetic nutrients.
Touche.
It's again, you don't have to think for yourself. You just apply. Now I know you can say the same thing with like a build a soil. You just apply.
Oh, yeah, same thing. They apply. That portion is like a meat. We both have that checked.
That's right. We can both check the.
Where I can't fully check is the control. Where you can use the controls again is if I have the right amount of amendments in my soil. My extra is coming primarily by what I'm indicating on the weekly amounts of my tea, which is stash blend. So I'm adding more to that, and I could decide when I want to add something potentially. If you wanted to go extra, like some worm castings, just to add to re-amend your soil more. But then one part that we're going to check off is, are you reusing your soil?
I fell asleep halfway through that discussion about all that craziness.
Okay.
So we figured out.
This FTS clip was brought to you by AC Infinity, leaders in garden innovation. Use discount code TheStash15 at checkout to save some money on your order.
From the Stash Podcast.